It is, you guys. It is your girl, Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Drama Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice. Hoping. Because you got to hold your breath for justice. To see justice before all face to bleak. It's your girl, Cadillac. Anyways, guys, yes, I am coming through September the 30th, 2025. It is 9:38 p.m. Girl, I got off of work, took my granddaughter to go see Gabby's Playhouse, or Gabby's Dollhouse, I'm sorry, which was really beautiful, about having your imagination, growing up and keeping your imagination. And that really speaks to the artist in me. But as I was sitting there with my little granddaughters and she was jumping around, girl, and she was having fun and she pulling her little grandma on my arm and we dancing together, I glanced at my phone because I'm guilty of checking my analytics because I had just uploaded a video and I wanted to see if it did anything. And no, I heard crickets, or like they told me they weren't crickets, they're cicadas. I heard cicadas. But I went to scrolling for a second and I seen this video from Phil from Africa Diaspora News Channel. Oh my goodness. And when I seen the title, girl, I was up there commenting. I didn't even know what he was talking about at that point in the line. But I'm like, I gotta watch this when I get out of here. I gotta watch it when I get home. And then when I started watching it when I got home, I said, oh no, I got to review this one. So, you know how y'all call me liars every day, and how I just support criminals, and I just what's some of these comments I have that I'm just part of an inept race, and that I just we're just making excuses. Why don't we stop playing victim? And just it goes on and on and on. And at first, criticism used to actually aggravate me. But if you're an artist, you know that criticism actually makes your craft better, right? And I was told also, I forgot, that my race never tried to make anything better, never tried to start their own. And I'm like, where did these folks come from? Because that's completely opposite of the truth. But anyway, sometimes when you hear when people see online, people will say what they're thinking out loud. In person, they like to act like they're not a certain way, but they are, and they do have those beliefs. Like when they sitting on your jury, they try to act like they're not artist or biased, but in all actuality, those same jurors are the same people in your comments, girl, leaving them nasty comments, right? But anyways, I seen Phil from Africa Diaspora. Let me read it. Let me read the title, girl. Titles and thumbnails. Okay, so the thumbnail. I can't see the thumbnail right now. But anyway, it says, Black Americans are the most exonerated group for crimes we did not commit. Ha! You don't say? You don't say? Well, I do say. And I tell you this every day. Every day since I woke up, from 2002, when my husband, April 10th, 2002, when my husband was wrongfully convicted and snatched out of our household. I've been telling y'all this. I've been telling y'all from MySpace, from Facebook, from YouTube, on my other channel when YouTube first came out. I've been telling y'all that this happens all the time, that allegedly you should care because it can happen to you so easily. Stop for a moment judging me and listen to the words coming out of my mouth, because it's nothing but the truth. And I get low views. I barely get seen. I don't get heard. I get so discouraged. Makes me want to just quit, shut this channel down, and be done. But then I see something that says, no, Keita, you're right. Over 50% are innocent. Every day I'm telling y'all about stories. I know people told me we're tired of hearing about Marcello Jackson. Look, we didn't love him like you loved him. We don't even know him, so we really don't care. Our life is still moving on. Like, can you talk about something else, please? And I said, oh, okay, let me tell you about Mr. Marcellus Williams. Let me tell you about, hold on. Let me get to my playlist with all the wrongfully incarcerated people that I have covered. Okay, so let's see. We look for Marcello Jackson, the wrongfully incarcerated Florida man. We go to his playlist, right, girl? Once we finds that, we just going down. Started with Corey Miller. We told that story. Then Marcello Jackson. Then we keep on going down. And then there is... Who else? All this is Marcello. See, it's been years I've been trying to break my husband's story of being wrongfully incarcerated. So I got many videos. Keep scroll. Man accused twice. Wrongfully arrested twice, but beat the case. All right. Then I covered Tory Lanez. Don't know if he innocent or guilty, but I wouldn't put it past it, girl. So if you saying you innocent, let's cover your story, because people don't get hurt. Allegedly. Willie Williams, 44 years, wrongfully incarcerated. Yes. Jimmy Dennis spent... I don't know how many years, because I don't have my notes in front of me, but decades on D-roll for something he did not do, just as Marcellus Williams did, but they wrongfully deleted him allegedly, and it just hit a year. I believe his wrongful deletion date was September the 24th of 2024. I might be off by a day or so, but it just passed. It's been a whole year since that happened. That hurt my heart, girl. Texas man Benjamin Spencer, wrongfully incarcerated for years. It takes years to get out of this, y'all. Take a second. It takes one biased thought about you to put you in there, and it takes you a lifetime to try to get out, right? I'm still scrolling. Taylor House, Richard Taylor, wrongfully accused, rightfully acquitted, girl. Yes. Let's keep going. And it just goes and goes and goes, like literally, like scrolls and scrolls and scrolls. Look. This is my playlist for the wrongfully incarcerated. Hold on. I'm trying to show y'all. See, just scroll. All these wrongful convictions. Oh, I got off for the wrongfully convicted. All right, sorry. This is where it starts. Girl, never mind. That's not working out like that. But anyway, many people and I have covered over 33 wrongful conviction case stories. And if I sat and did this all day, every day, there would be no way that I can cover everybody's story. Truth is, majority, for those who get exonerated, that is the small minute few. Truth is, majority are just going to have to play out their wrongful convictions. Just as my husband has been wrongfully incarcerated for 23 plus years, and there really is no hope. There's about that much, a pinch of it. Most likely he's going to have to finish out his wrongful 40-year incarceration. So he has about another 10 to 12 years of wrongful time to do. We raised our daughter through prison visits from 9 months to 20. She's 24 now. due to his wrongful conviction. Now let's listen to Phil from Africa Diaspora News, because I'm clearly lying. So let's hear somebody else say it. Maybe you'll believe him.
Their Messiah, Charlie Kirk, will be saying the exact same thing. Now, they don't continue the rest of the story.
Oh, we missed the part. Hold on. That's the part.
Same thing.
I'm not really interested in CK. That's not the point of this story. He was just saying what everybody else is allegedly programmed to say.
Support and the people who have joined, and hopefully everybody here would join.
Okay.
It would be beautiful to get our numbers up to our first goal where we need to be. I need to figure out the percentage where we at for our first. They always like to run around telling y'all, 13% of the population commits 50% of the murders in America. And y'all blacks commit so much crime. And they say this and they repeat this over and over and over.
But they leave out that every other nationality commits the same amount of crime. But it's just they don't incarcerate them at the same amount of rate. They get these taps on the wrist. Don't do that no more. That's what they get. They get let go. They get time served. They get diversion programs. They get all these things that people of my skin tone do not get. And I am reviewing this video for entertainment and educational purposes. This is not my video. This is Phil from Africa Diaspora News.
Even their hero, their Messiah, Charlie Kirk, will be saying the exact same thing. Now, they don't continue.
And then they don't allow you to answer back, right? They talk over you once you try to give them the truth about why it's like that. Always ask the why. Don't just say the what, because the what really don't matter. It's why is it happening?
The rest of the story. They don't talk about what happens after the so-called conviction.
Yeah.
They don't talk about how the dirty cops planted evidence.
Wrongful arrest. I tell you this every day. Go check all my playlists, all my videos that are unwatched. Wrongful arrest. Wrongful convictions start with wrongful arrest. Without the wrongful arrest, there's no wrongful conviction. But when the officers, the law-abiding, good upstanding, keeping us safe, allegedly, when they arrest you, baby, they finna go and just back them all the way up. And don't think that the evidence has to align. There don't have to be no evidence. Every single case that I have covered, including my husband's case, there was no tangible evidence linking the person to the crime in which they were wrongfully incarcerated for.
They don't talk about how the dirty cops sit up here and not do their due diligence when witnesses claim they saw you doing something, right?
Those be mostly jailhouse informants, and those are mostly people that actually gain something off of pointing and saying, you did it. Like, that's how it goes. It's a game.
Yet, do they claim we commit so much crime? Well, we're going to look at tonight how we're not committing crime. We're going to look at...
They don't want to hear that, though. Even though I say innocent, wrongfully incarcerated, he's not guilty. He never did it. There's no evidence. I could tell you, I don't know what language I need to learn that I can say this in. But people still come with the same energy that he shouldn't have never did what he did. Girl, I feel bad for you and your child. But he shouldn't have never did what he did. And I'm steady trying to tell you he is innocent. They could believe anything else in this world before they could believe that a BLK man is innocent in prison. When there are many. That's why my husband is called one of many. That's why he calls himself one of many.
Night, when you have brothers in prison saying, I didn't commit this crime.
Yep.
I'm innocent.
And then people will not listen. And it takes decades. That's why it takes decades. There's no place to go. There's no outlets. There's no help. There's nothing. There's nothing.
Statistically speaking, you will see 53% of them are telling the truth.
Yep.
And the rest of them actually did it. But they're not going to, they don't want to show you this. They're not going to show you what we're going to talk about tonight.
They definitely not. And I believe that's honestly why my channel, if you see all the work I did in my channel, you know I'm on here every single day. You see me on Facebook posting before Facebook started, trying to hide you, girl. You've seen me for years. And anytime I open my mouth, you know what I'm talking about. So, I don't know. They don't want you to hear that. Because if you did start hearing it, you would start asking questions, right? And it will collapse. But this is a money grab, y'all. It really is. It's not about what you think it is. It's not for the reasons that you allegedly think it's for. It's for other reasons.
Because the mainstream media got to keep feeding the prison industrial complex, and they got to make sure
And look what happened to our music. Our music actually started. I got a rap, girl. I'm gonna plug it real quick. Hip-hop was in the streets, not industry. It was raw, rough, rugged, it was gritty. Hip-hop shed light on things that wasn't mainstream. But not every picture that it painted was pretty. Hip-hop was an expression of things that we've been suppressing, and now we the people finally had a voice. Music is so powerful, but we don't tap into that no more. And now the same art form we created now exploits us. Here's your girl Cadillac. That is why hip-hop went from being educational to what it is present day. That's why. It was a tool used against us. Our own art, allegedly, used against us.
America stays on board with the support of that, okay? Because that is slavery. Remember the same 13th Amendment that so-called freed us.
Thank you. It never ended. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Phil. I'm not lying. If I'm lying, I'm flying. It never ended. They rebranded it. And y'all just cannot see it. They rebranded it. They made it into something you support. You support it. You support it. But it's the same old slavery, just rebranded. Thank you.
Crime. You're a criminal, and that way I can re-enslave you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
This is why their world is falling apart.
And that is why the BLK man feels that spot, because that's their target audience. I told you it's a business, allegedly.
Because you wasn't righteous in nothing you did. This is why they're literally imploding on themselves. And we're literally watching it in real time.
And to let you know, because I know you didn't care, most of the facilities in this country are to critical capacity, almost maximum, which means they did not rehabilitate anybody. They just incarcerated, right? They didn't educate. They just incarcerated. So now they may be forced to let these same people that nobody cares about right back into society without being rehabilitated, just being shelved for decades. Now they're releasing them back on the streets. And guess what? Allegedly, they want them to commit more crimes so that they can refuel that alleged business. I'm telling you.
And I'm so proud of all of you black people who are out there creating content.
Thank
You're now covering the white on white crime. You're really pathologizing it.
Yeah, what's his name? Introverted rock star. And I love them. Taylor House Publishing. They are showing it because, and people are confused about why. And it's basically just showing you, hey, look, here's the mirror. You're saying we're the criminals and that's why we're wrongfully incarcerated. But look, your people doing the same thing and not getting these consequences. They're doing worse things and not even getting arrested. Like, look, the system itself is not just. And you come right back and tell me, oh no, it's 12 jurors found him guilty. It has to be guilty. It has to be guilty. But that's why they're doing that. That's why they're covering. For every yin, there's a yang. For every opposite, there's another opposite. For every positive, there's a negative. So you have to show both sides. You need to see that it is not just us. It's just us being like ridiculously punished, whether we're guilty or innocent. But we're not the only ones out there committing these crimes.
Really saying, hey, why are
Allegedly.
they saying something? I'm so proud of black people getting on code with that. I'm proud of you. Definitely so proud of y'all. And we need y'all to keep covering.
And it doesn't mean that you do not like other people. It is not because you defend yourself. It's so aggravating because you spend so much time trying to explain why that you never get your point across. It is not that we don't like other people. I grew up around nobody. You got that story where I was the only BLK girl in my school. It was not that I did not like them. They did not like me and picked on me because I was different. So because I defend myself does not mean that I have HATE for other nationalities. Because I rather than the people who group us all together and judge us all together, I know that not all people are the same. Even if they're from the same demographic, I know they're not all the same. But we're group judged. We're grouped all together and said, see, that's how they do. So that is the reason that they are showing you these counter stories. It has to be shown because I don't know. I could just go on and on and on. Sorry.
In the white on a white crime. We need y'all to do that, okay? All right. Now, let me get to what I want my screen here. Let me clear this up. Boom.
I didn't even get this far
where we at?
in the video. I just heard that first part and I was like, I gotta review this.
I'm really excited to bring the occupational therapy doctorate in the 2-year accelerated hybrid format.
All right, let me go ahead and clear this up off. No, what? That's not the
every time. I'm telling y'all.
Let me see something.
You know how I was just doing my testimonies, y'all. Every time I get to that breaking point and say, you know what? Nobody cares about those innocent in prison. Nobody cares about my husband. Nobody cares how our family was broken apart. Let me just let this go. Like, I'm an artist. Let me just go draw some pictures. Let me just go. I mean, I even been telling my testimonies, but it's hard to tell my testimonies without including that because it's a big part of my life. They ripped our lives apart because my husband is BLK. And they needed him in their system more than we needed him in our home. And every time I say I'm going to let it go, y'all, I see another video like this.
Second, y'all. I think this is the one I wanted. Yep, this is the one I wanted.
And feel it. You opening a door. Here, you open a rabbit hole where you go researching wrongful convictions.
Because I want to show y'all the one that was bigger. Is this it?
Stop believing their propaganda about so-called black BLK crime, race, and wrongful convictions in the United States.
I'm going to go with this one here. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. All right. If y'all can see this, if not, I'll zoom in a little bit more for y'all.
I'm so glad he's covering this.
Zoom in. If I can't, I'm not going to worry about it.
Back in the mid-2000s,
wrongful convictions in the United States.
Everybody thought I was freaking crazy. I'm glad to girl.
Okay, now this was circa 2022. Okay? Now, this was a project of the University of California, Irvine, Newkirk Center for Science and Society, the University of Michigan Law School, and the Michigan State University College of Law. Okay? Now, here they're talking about race and wrongful convictions in the U.S. in 2022. So they tell you about the report, the role of the conviction, they say, of race and conviction of innocent people.
Baby, race is the biggest factor they determine when they're determining your guilt or innocence. Not even whether you did it or not the evidence. Race. Allegedly.
People, so we discuss cases are listed in the National Registry of Exonerations. It's an ongoing online archive, include all known exonerations. It's in the United States since 1989. It's at 3248. It say as of the writings, the report describes racial patterns in the first 3,200 individual exonerations in the registry. It said those posted by August 8, 2022. So information about individual exoneration we discussed may be found searching exonerees by name on the registry website. So
yeah, majority will never get exonerated. I even talked to a guy on TikTok. He never got out of his wrongful conviction. He had to just complete it. And there are wrongfully incarcerated people on D-Row. And they just get deleted. Troy Davis and Marcellus Williams.
Tell you about all
many
of that.
more,
Okay.
I'm sure,
right.
allegedly.
So let's go down to the introduction. Okay, because we got to take our time with this. Now I say black people are 13.6% of the American population, but 53% of the 3,200 exonerations listed in the National Registry of Exonerations.
And you know, when I said that statistic of black men being the largest number of exonerees, somebody told me, duh, because they commit most of the crimes.
From exonerations, innocent black Americans are 7 times more likely than white Americans to be falsely convicted of a serious crime. Think about that. So when they claim, we get to that murder thing, we see this racial disparity in varying degrees for all major crime categories except white-collar crime. This report examines racial disparities in the 3 types of crime that produce the largest numbers of exonerations: murder, SA, and drug crime. And say for both murder and SA, there are preliminary investigative issues that increase the number of innocent black suspects for murder, the high homicide rate in the black community, and say for, violation, you know what that word is, and say the difficulty of cross-racial eyewitness.
The biggest reason for wrongful convictions, number 1, is eyewitness misidentification and prosecutorial misconduct.
Identification for both crimes, misconduct, discrimination, and racism amplified
But I don't know my stuff.
Initial racial discrepancies, say for drug crime, and say the preliminary sorting that increases the number of convictions of innocent black suspects in racial profiling. In addition, the registry lists 17 group exonerations, and say including, 2,975 additional wrongful convicted defendants, many of whom were deliberately framed.
Yep, because it's you give me this guy, you give me that information, I give you this break over here.
And convicted of fabricated drug crimes and large-scale police scam.
My husband is incarcerated for a fabricated crime, which means it never happened. It did not even ever happen. That's why you don't have evidence. But nobody hears it.
So see, the police, as we all know, the
good
police,
guys that's keeping us safe, allegedly,
to try to get black people in prison. Lying, planting evidence. We know how dirty they are. The overwhelming.
I told you when I was almost wrongfully arrested myself because they lied, girl, and claimed I had the dogs hit on my car. I had substances in my car. I'm already coming to see my wrongfully incarcerated husband. And you trying to wrongfully arrest me? Girl, I know how this go. It's your word against mine. You search my car. Somehow you find something that I never had in this car, and then I go down. Don't matter if the evidence align or not. This is how it works. This should be causing alarms, but I know to the viewer, it's just making you look at me like I'm crazy. You know what? It doesn't even matter at this point. I spent most of my life fighting this issue. But I'm going to still do it. I don't care how crazy I look.
Majority are black.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go to murder. You know, they always say, oh, yeah, y'all 13% of the population get 50% of the murder. Remember they always say that, those white supremacists?
And when you wrongfully, before he starts telling you about Merck, when you wrongfully incarcerate, you don't do due diligence to the victim. You actually give the victim and their family injustice, and then you put somebody else in prison and you do them and their family injustice. And that's a lot of the reason why allegedly they don't want to overturn these convictions, because they know they have to go back to that family and tell them we got that wrong. And you're opening up decades old wounds.
Now, they say innocent black people are about 7.5 times more likely to be convicted of murder than innocent white people. That applies equally to those who are sentenced to death.
Because when you walk in the courtroom with BLK skin, they allegedly already see that you're guilty. They already find you guilty before even, but it's so many other aspects how they allegedly manipulate the jury. Like, girl, but it's fair.
And those who are not. A major cause of this disparity is the high homicide rate in the black community, a tragedy that kills many black people and sends many others to prison. And let me talk about that homicide rate. It's only in the impoverished communities.
Because the opposite of crime, I be saying that too, is education, prevention, and resources. So when you suck out, allegedly, the education, the resources, and anything else that we need, when you suck that out the community, what else can you get but crime, allegedly? And if you come from that community, whether you're innocent or guilty, you're already labeled guilty from being from that same area.
Get outside the impoverished communities, our crime drops literally to almost non-existent levels. Now, they say here...
So it's manufactured, allegedly.
They say, like families of those who are killed, innocent defendants, they say, who are falsely convicted are victims who are deeply harmed.
And this is the thing, nobody cares about us. Nobody cares about us. They don't care about my husband, whose birthday prophetically is National Wrongful Conviction Day. This October 2nd, my husband will be turning 44 years old. It will be his 23rd birthday spent behind bars for a crime he did not commit. He spent more time behind bars than here in the free world with his family. Our daughter was freaking 9 months old when they took him out our life. For what? Because he's black. Allegedly, because he's black. That's a reason to take him from his freaking family. To them, yes, it's the reason. It's the only reason. I done spent my whole life behind this.
By murders committed by others. In addition, black people who are convicted of murder are about 80% more likely to be innocent.
I don't care about that.
Than other convicted murder. So they're saying that black defendants who are convicted of murder are about 80%. That means the majority of black people who are convicted of murders more likely, this is the term, more likely to be innocent than...
Phil, I can explain it all to you. I know you'll never see my video, but I can explain. But I already know you know. But the average Joe don't know, right? But I can explain you the inside and out how this system, how it was set up, how it was strategically orchestrated this way, and why it will continue. I do have a video of why wrongful convictions take so long to overturn and why they happen so often. I give you numerous ways. And by studying wrongful convictions, they all have the same elements. It's literally, you could change the person's name on the case and the cases are still the same. Take the name off the file, swish that up in a circle, and then take the file, swish them up in a circle, and then put them on different files. They'll be the same story over and over and over. There's never any tangible evidence that is linking the innocent person to the crime that they're wrongfully incarcerated for. There don't be no evidence. There don't be no tangible evidence. Yet they convict, and once it's closed, y'all. It is hard as jail to get a case open. It is hard as jail. You have to get newly discovered evidence. Even when there's things that they botched your trial from up and down, they'll say no. The higher courts will just side with the lower courts, and they will let that conviction stand. It is hard as jail to get out of a wrongful conviction. That's why in my case with my husband, I said we just gonna have to wait it out. Just got about 10 more years. You done did 23 wrongfully of your life. What's 10 more years of your life? I know it's a lot, but to them it's nothing. It's just 10 more years that we can make off of you, allegedly, in this system. And off of me, because the family has to support them through that system. And it takes half of our income to even support them.
Other convicted murderers means to tell you that black folks aren't out here committing murder like that. And we coming from the black community, we know this. We know this. We know once you get away from Pookie and them, we don't really have them kind of problems. Part of the disparity is tied to the race of the victims. About 13% of murders by black people have white victims. But twice as many, 26% of innocent black murder exonerees were convicted of killing white people. So...
And race does play a big role, even in my husband's case. I know y'all say I'm just playing victim when I say that, but my husband was in a car with 3 white tee guys. Why now one of them white tee guys did not a day in jail over this? And my one black husband, BLK husband, is the only one serving 40 years for an alleged robbery of $80 because they wrote 80. And once the good upstanding law-abiding officer seen that my husband didn't even have what they were alleging or lying and saying that he had, he gave their sworn affidavits back to them and told them to cross out 80 and put in 60 so that the money can align. They forced the pieces in. And only the one BLK man, when you ain't got no evidence, then you attach a weapon that you claim you looked for, but you could not find, but we're gonna still charge him with the weapon. There's no physical evidence of weapon, nobody powed, nobody hurt, nobody, nothing. Everybody went home the way they came in this whole situation, except for my husband. He went home to his new home in the penitentiary. And yet nobody cares. Nobody still hears my silent cries. These are silent cries. And I know you don't hear me. I know you don't hear him. You don't hear him having to cry about, I done already missed my daughter's life and now I'm missing my grandchildren's lives over something I did not do. Y'all don't hear that. It doesn't affect you. until it does affect you. And then you're going to want the system to work the way it should have worked. And it's not. It's going to work the same way it worked for us.
As we all know, you know how the white supremacists say, oh, black on white crime is so high. No, it's not. But it said 26% of innocent black murder exonerees were convicted of killing white people. So that's a high rate of lying.
And then what they do is they fill your jury with all white people as well. That's going to find you guilty.
To the murder exoneration with black defendants were almost 50% more likely to include misconduct by police officers and 99.9%.
Oh, they excuse all of that. The 3 officers in my husband's case, nothing that they testified on the witness stand lined up. Not one aspect. It was 3 different versions of has to be the truth because they said it. And then this same officer, because he found out then that, oh, I can say what I want, so I'm definitely going to, they're going to back me. A few years after, was alleged to wrongfully delete someone that was already piled on the ground, and they piled 50 more times. And when they was asked, okay, you had him on the ground, there was no need to pile that many times. All 5 of those officers, good law-abiding, upstanding, alleged officers, had different stories. So if that's his thing that he does, and what the jacket of charges that he put on that person that was wrongfully deleted, the same freaking jacket of charges with Marcello. So every BLK guy is going out there committing the same jacket of charges, or is that what his go-to charges were? I'm going to put all these charges. This is my go-to charges, and I'm going to put it on you. And I know, allegedly, they ain't going to do nothing because I don't have to come up with evidence. You showed me that in Marcello Jackson's case, that I can charge him with a weapon, and I don't even have to produce a weapon. I could just say that Ish was there, and I can make these 2 cross out their statements and write in that, yes, it was this, it was that. I can make that happen. And that's why it happened. But don't listen to me. I'm crazy and I'm just a victim.
At the time they were white. Then those with white defendants. It say, in addition, on average, black murder exonerees spent 3 years longer in prison before release than white murder exonerees. The number of murder exonerations has been increasing, and many of the recent exonerees as black murder defendants who spent decades in prison. Most of these long-serving black murder defendants...
Don't I say that all the time? The shortest wrongful conviction I've covered is now 6 years. But before it was 10 years. It's going to take you decades to get out of that. I just feel... This actually makes me feel good because it proves... Because you start questioning yourself. Am I just freaking crazy? Am I really just playing victim?
Was exonerated by a handful of big city prosecutorial conviction integrity units.
Conviction integrity units. That's why they do not want them. That allegedly is why ours got shut down here in Orange County. Because you don't want to open these. Because you don't want to see who's really innocent. And it was told that our state attorney was taken down because she was letting too many criminals go. Criminals meaning innocent people. Innocent black people. That's criminals. That's their definition of criminals. She was letting too many criminals go. And everybody backed that. Everybody backed what he said just because.
Likely on the way. Many of the convictions of black murder exonerees were influenced by racial discrimination, from unconscious bias and institutional discrimination to explicit racism. Most innocent defendants who are convicted of crimes are not exonerated. Judging from the rate of the false convictions among death sentences, at least several thousand defendants have been falsely convicted of murder in America in the past 40 years. Judging from the exonerations that have occurred, more than half of them were black. Now let's just kind of stop right there. Just have a discussion real quick, ladies and gentlemen.